2023 here in today's Knife Therapy. We have another Jack Wolf knife. This is the Cyborg. Yeah, this one, I find this one pretty exciting because it's in that perfect size range that I love to EDC. This knife comes in 5 different variations. The one you see here with the Toxic Storm Fat Carbon, and you could also get it in a dark matter orange fat carbon. Also, you can get it in hot pink camo carbon. That stuff looks awesome. Very vibrant color on the hot pink. And you have 2 micartas. You can get it in olive drab canvas micarta, which looks oh so sexy as well. And lastly, you can get it in black canvas micarta, which also looks amazing. Now I'll pop the specs up on the screen. And we'll talk a little bit about the things that I like. Like I said, the size is perfect for everyday carry for me. Just shy of 7 inches. That for a slip joint, at least I think that's perfect. I think the Benny's clip it ended up becoming my dedicated gents carry for whenever I'm dressed up nice because it's a bigger knife, and I carry that one in a sheath with a clip on it. And the versatility of the Cyborg, I can carry it in that if I want. I can also carry it in the beautiful leather sheath that it came with. They come with nice quality leather sheaths. Or I had 2 other carry options that I've been really, really loving. I picked this up off of Amazon. What is this from? I think it was, what does it say? Gas something on it. But I think it was Easy Ant. And yeah, it fits perfect. I can keep my pen and my light on me. Let's see, I carried it like this. Still, I just got this in probably 3 days ago, but I've been carrying it ever since, trying to get it to be form fitted. But that one was awesome. And something I picked up recently off of Etsy is this beautiful leather slip with the clip on it. I like this quite often whenever I have bigger slip joints like the Lanny's clip, because it's a good bit larger in like overall width and in height of it. So this one also is nice for the smaller ones. For the Benny's clip, I used this bigger one that I got from a Tuya slip joint, but this one's nice. The guy, I don't really remember the name of the seller, but just search leather pocket slips with clip. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. Now let's open this up and take a look at this beauty. You got this beautiful, stunning clip point blade with a beautiful swedge that comes all the way down to the tip. However, it doesn't thin out that tip. You still have a good bit of meat there, so it's not super dainty or anything. You're not gonna have to worry about it as much. You have a half moon nail nick right there on the show side only. Nicely done. You have vertical belt satin finish on your primary and on your swedge. And on your flats, you have a stone wash finish. It's kind of hard to show it on with my lighting. There it is. Blade steel, like all the others, is Bowler M390 stainless steel, which is a super steel, a good performer. And these always tend to perform excellent. You got a nice size sharpening notch there that's actually a little bit bigger than the Benny's clip, and I like that. Gives you a little bit more sharpening life. Let's see if I can show you that. Yeah, as you can see, you have a little bit wider of one right here, so you'll have a little bit more sharpening life on here. And being that it's a hollow grind, it won't start to thicken up probably midway on the blade. It has a nice deep hollow grind on this, so this thing should perform outstanding. Why don't we find out? The knife came to me pretty sharp out of box, but boy, this geometry on these Jack Wolf knives is just outstanding. They slice so nicely, and this one has a really comfortable handle. It's on the little thinner side, but it's a slip joint. That's understandable, but it's just made to perform, and it performs very, very well. All right, now we're gonna be testing the ergos and how well that edge is biting, and it was fairly easy to make the fine curls, but man, when I started increasing that pressure, it wanted to bite, and it wanted to bite deep. I did notice, when I really put a lot of pressure into it, my hand was kind of going to the bottom part of that handle which has like a little bitty nub right there. It wasn't super uncomfortable or anything, and this is not, I wouldn't be putting this knife through this harder type cutting, even though it can handle it. Just something that I did notice. Wasn't unbearable, didn't have to put on gloves or anything, but just look at it. It wants to take chunks out of this wood. Yeah, very, very nice. Loving it so far. I most certainly definitely could have done this for way longer, but I don't want to keep y'all here for an hour doing testing, so we cut it a little bit short. That nice and thin belly up there, boy, it slices so well doing those drag cuts. And yeah, you can use that belly for pushing down, which makes it nice and comfortable cutting on the flat surface. And that's what I love about this blade shape. You have a nice straight portion in the back part of the blade to do your, cardboard cutting and stuff, cutting like this. But then you have that perfect belly right there at the tip for starting those cuts, doing the rocking motion cuts, drag through cuts, you name it. It's a jack of all trades type of knife. And yeah, it's blasting through pretty much all the material I put in front of it. I'm pretty amazed at this point on how effortlessly it's going through here. Pretty much no downward pressure going through this stuff. The edge still feels good. And I will say, hopefully they get the edge thinned out a little bit pretty soon. I know they're working on that. But, even at the 25,000, still performs outstanding. And yeah, after the test, I will profile it to probably 20 degrees and see how that edge bevel looks. At the end of the denim on the last test, I was kind of worried that the edge was starting to lose its bite, but as soon as I started cutting this 1/2 inch twisted style rope, I knew I was wrong. I'm making mainly push cuts here, some rocking cuts, but once again, it's not requiring a whole bunch of downward force. That tip goes up high enough to where I'm not digging it into the cutting board as I push down. That's something you see with like Warncliffs or even sheep's foot that don't have much belly to them. This one, that's why I think it's a jack of all trades knife, because you have a flat portion and you still have that belly to do these type of cuts perfectly. Nice and comfortable in the pinch grip. I kind of thought the thinner handle was going to be a little harder to hold on to. Now I do have gloves on, but I probably wouldn't be doing a lot of this type of cutting anyway with the slip joint. It will perform great. And yeah, I was definitely surprised at this point. Ended up making 32 cuts without an issue. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that cutting as much as I enjoyed doing it for y'all. Now, let's take a look, I guess, at the walk and talk. Being I'm not really a traditional slip joint guy, I usually bring this to my neighbor who is, and I let him see it. I do know that it has a nice positive click on that half stop and a very positive click on the close as well. He called it a 6.5 to 7 on the pull. I don't know what to compare, but it's comparable to the rest of the Jack Wolf knives. They're very nice and solid. I know it put a smile on his face for him to open and close this, and he didn't want to give this one back to me. So I told him I had to review it, and maybe I'll gift one to him for always helping me out with some of the more traditional terminology there. It's flat in all three positions, in the opened and in the half stop position, and of course in the close. One thing that I noticed over this compared to some of the other slip joints I have is just how fluid and how smooth, even though it has a good tension to that pull and the closing on it. It's just nice and smooth because of the phosphor bronze washers that they add in here. A lot of the slip joints I have don't have that, and they're just riding on the I guess the frame itself, and the adding of those washers just makes it that much more nice to open and close. And even with the poor dexterity I have in my hands, I can still do this nice and comfortably. Love it. I love the closed profile of this knife. I think it looks mean and it looks oh so sexy. That Toxic Storm fat carbon is some beautiful, beautiful stuff. I know that was another thing that my neighbor just could not get over. He was just in awe of how good looking it looked. And once again, I'm not even a carbon fiber fan, but man, oh man, does it look nice. I love how these aren't straight across. I love how they have some, you know, some dimension to them. I like how they're not just your plain old, let's see. Now these aren't just plain because you have the flutes right there, but you know, most that you see are straight across. I love how this looks. I think it's a nice look, absolutely seamless. You don't feel the transition at all. The only thing I do feel is the smooth feeling of the carbon fiber over the blasted feeling of the titanium. Your top and bottom bolster is titanium, like I just said. Let me give you a close look at that. Absolutely seamless. Now let's flip it over at this beautifully done haft back spring right here. You have stainless steel back spring that has that nice brush finish. And I love the crisp lines where it stops. You can see, hopefully it's coming across, but they're perfect. Perfectly across right there. So whoever ground it made sure it's perfect there, perfect here, perfect there. So all your lines where the grind stops is absolutely perfection. Definitely some skilled craftsmen that are finishing these knives. They have a custom feel to them, perfectly centered. Mine's got a little gunk in there, but I just finished using it. All your hardware on this is polished titanium. Your pivot is a Torx T10. Your body screws are Torx T8. I love that he used bigger screws on these knives. This knife has a really good weight to it. Let's check it out on the scale. All right, first off in grams, 69.2 grams or 2.44 ounces. So yeah, as usually a slip joint's usually my third knife I'm carrying. One for review, one that I want to carry, and then slip joint usually either dropped in the pocket. That's a perfect size and weight for me to carry. I touched on the ergos during the testing, but I want to touch on it again. I knew already, seeing this downward slope, I knew it was going to really be form-fitting to the hand. Now, a slip joint, you know, they're usually slender in the scales, and that's fine because you're wanting them just to make a cut, put them up, and they don't need to be, you know, thick like a fixed blade or anything like that. But whenever I was pushing on the wood, doing the harder cuts, not something I would normally do with this, it was comfortable all the way till I really started pushing. And I think it's because whenever I push hard, I kind of grip down a little bit. And this part of my pinky was landing on that. But, you know, all I would have to do is adjust, and that would have been just fine. It wasn't bad or anything, nothing where I had to stop what I was doing, obviously, because you didn't see me stopping. But I did feel it. It's just part of the design. And like I said, in my normal grip, I'm not even coming close to it. It's just whenever I really start to push down, I don't know why, but I kind of scoot down a little bit, kind of keep my hand away from the wood. I don't want to get a splinter stabbed through me or something. But since this knife, you know, has beautifully contoured scales, it feels so good in the hand along with this downward slope. Something that, you know, is not present on the Benny's clip. It's just a more straight back design, but it is a little bit fuller in the hand and a little bit thicker as well. So that's why this one is just as comfortable. Now for some quick size comparisons, we have the Jack Wolf Benny's clip and the Vampire Jack. The Benny's clip I thought would be a lot longer, but it's just a little bit longer, but in overall width, it's a good bit wider. The Vampire Jack is probably the closest in overall length, if not identical in overall length. Next up, we have the Benchmade Proper and the Lion Steel Round Head. It's a little bit longer than both of these. Now for some locking knives, we have the Ontario Rat Model 2 and the Hogue Ritter Mini RSK. Pretty close to these two overall length. You have about the same cutting edge as the Rat 2, and about the same overall length as the Mini RSK. All right, for my nitpicks and complaints, he keeps fixing or making it better, so I don't really have much. Hopefully we see the thinner edge bevels from factory on the next run. I know he's trying, and he thought they might be on this one. But other than that, you know, I love this one. I think this one will be the one I get in my neighbor as much as I saw him slaving over or jaw dropped. So I might have to be trying to pick him up one of these. And yeah, overall, I think it's an outstanding knife. I know, you know, some people think it's overpriced, but for a small batch company and for the quality, fit, and finish that you're getting, I'll be super honest. It blows this line stay around it. It blows it out of the water in overall performance, fit and finish, walk and talk, everything. This thing is a hunk of junk. At least mine is. It doesn't hold an edge for nothing. This one, on the other hand, I've handled some custom slip joints. It has a very much of a custom feel because there's a lot of hand finishing that goes into this. So I can definitely understand the price tag. And like I said, I'll probably be buying one of these for my neighbor, maybe even my father-in-law, because he's been taking a liking to these as well before he starts to steal mine. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.